They just refer you already submitted a written complaint. That would be just.
I don't mind. Let's go to this last. I don't mind.
Thank you. Best if you don't mind.
You mentioned that in your
Test 1, 2.
That's not gonna be good.
Test.
I think my girl.
It wasn't doing this 19 minutes ago when I tested. Yeah. I can tell you.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Civil structural
We could, sorry, Luis is on his way.
Okay. My daughter was.
Oh, she did?
She was slow. He did his undergraduate from all that. And his master's. Yeah, it was 19. That's usually the case. Yeah.
Test 1, 2, 3.
A little better.
But I don't think.
2 minutes.
Oh, they're gonna do it 2 minutes. We're all done.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it was, it's all real nice.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It is a little bit.
They traded this one.
Yeah, if they want the sound to just come through the speakers, is that all it is?
Test 1, 2, 3.
That's better.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct a public hearing on proposed regulations brought forth by the Contractors State License Board. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the CSLB and its staff. My name is Diana Godinez, and I am the Regulations Specialist within the CSLB's Executive Division. I will preside over this hearing on behalf of CSLB. I also have in the room Rico Garcia, our Public Affairs Manager, who will be our moderator. Yafana Lamar, Chief of Legislation, who will be taking notes. And Stacy Paul, Budget Manager, who will be assisting in the lobby area. Everyone is welcome to stay and watch. However, if we reach capacity in the room, we may ask that you leave after you've made your comments so that others may come in to provide comment. The exit in the back leads to the lobby on the left, and restrooms are in the lobby just behind the stairs. For the record, the date today is Thursday, August 3rd, 2023, and the time is 10:06 a.m. This hearing is being held by the CSLB at 9821 Business Park Drive, Sacramento, California, 95827. This hearing is being recorded so that staff can accurately capture your comments today. By participating in this hearing, you are consenting to the recording. CSLB is considering adopting amendments to sections 810, 832.10, and 832.46 of the California Code of Regulations regarding battery energy storage systems. This action is being taken pursuant to the authority vested by sections 7008 and 7059 of the Business and Professions Code, authorizing the CSLB to adopt, repeal, or amend regulations for the administration and enforcement of Title 16, Division 8 of the California Code of Regulations. This regulatory proposal was filed with the Office of Administrative Law on June 16, 2023, and has been duly noticed. The notice, along with the proposed text, were sent to all interested parties and have been available on CSLB's website since June 15, 2023. Notice of the public hearing was sent to all interested parties on July 21st, 2023. Copies of the proposed text are available here on the tables, the back wall. All written comments previously received on the proposal will be made part of the record and do not need to be presented verbally at this meeting. CSLB shall consider all written comments received through Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023, and any written or oral comments received here at the public hearing. Please keep in mind that this is a public forum to receive comments on the proposed regulations from interested parties. This is not a forum for debate, discussion, or defense of the proposed regulation. Staff are required to respond to comments received here today in writing. Therefore, we cannot orally respond to comments during this hearing. Please do not have conversations in the room. The monitor to my right has a camera and microphone to webcast in-person public comment to the online participants and anyone in the lobby. If you need to speak to another person, please exit to the lobby so the conversation is not picked up online. Those persons appearing in person who wish to testify may form a single line leading to the podium. You will be called to testify one at a time, and you will be provided 2 minutes to ensure everyone has the opportunity to comment. We will begin by taking 10 comments in person, followed by 10 comments on WebEx, and alternated until all comments are received. For online participants, when the moderator opens a comment window, please follow the instructions explained by the moderator to be placed in the queue to make a comment. The moderator will call you in the order the request is received. When you testify, please state the name by which you wish to be identified and any organization you represent. If you would like to submit an anonymous comment, you are not required to identify yourself. Remember, this hearing is being recorded. Be sure to speak loudly enough so that your testimony can be heard and recorded. Remember, it is not necessary to repeat the testimony of previous commenters. It is sufficient to simply say that you agree with what previous speaker has stated. When providing a comment, please identify the specific portion of the regulation you are addressing and comment only on regulations for your discussion. If you have submitted written comments, you may summarize those comments, but please do not repeat them as they are written. Staff will not be able to respond to questions. If you have a question about the proposed regulation, please rephrase the question as a comment. For example, instead of asking what a particular subdivision means, you should state the language is unclear and articulate why. This will give CSLB an opportunity to address your comments directly when CSLB makes its final determination as to its written responses following the close of the hearing. We'll now begin with, anybody wants to come to the podium and provide comment?
No mic, but that's okay. Hi. Good morning. My name is Ed Murray, and I'm the president of Aztec Solar, and I'm also the president and chairperson of the California Solar and Storage Association. Aztec Solar installs solar for pools, hot water, and solar electric. We also install batteries for residential and commercial systems, and we're based in Rancho Cordova, so right up the street. I'm here today to express my opposition to the regulations as proposed. The threshold is too small, the timeline is too tight, and the declaration that battery storage is not considered part of a solar energy system is totally inaccurate and harmful. With these regulations as proposed, the CSLB will be simultaneously hurting small businesses, jobs, the rise of energy storage, and the consumers we all serve. I support the California Solar and Storage Association's proposed alternative language. If California is going to meet its energy demands and electrification requirements, we will need companies such as Aztec Solar, which is representative of most CALSA members, to install battery storage and service them. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Charlene Woodcock. I live in Berkeley. I'm speaking for myself. I strongly oppose the proposed seemingly irrational restrictions on licensed solar installers. Licensed solar installers have more training in battery installations than general electricians do. Those of us who have invested in a solar roof have done due diligence to find a good installer. To prohibit me from returning to that installer for a repair or a battery installation makes no sense to me and is a needless interference with my consumer rights. I worry about monopoly public utilities trying to extend their control over consumers by making it more costly to put up rooftop solar at the very time that we should be extending it to as many people as possible. It's the most efficient, affordable way for families to reduce their carbon footprint. And so I oppose these proposed restrictions because it seems to me they would interfere with that needed process. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Barry Cinnamon with Cinnamon Energy Systems. I'm a C46 contractor, a C10 contractor, a B licensed contractor. Been installing solar and storage in California for over 20 years. We've got over 100 commercial systems that we've installed and we're maintaining, very actively installing more right now. Every single one of these customers wants an energy storage system. The majority of them are using SMA, SolarEdge, and Enphase inverters. And none of these inverter companies have integrated energy storage systems on the market. The market is limited not by demand. All these commercial customers need ESS, but by product availability. When these products become available in 2024, we're going to be faced with a situation where C46 contractors cannot install or maintain those systems. At the same time, when the blackouts and the energy prices continue to spike in California, there are no certified manufacturer certified installers with these companies because they don't make those units yet. So when these regulations come into effect, we're going to be faced with a situation where a workforce will need to be trained. These certified electricians will need to be trained. So finally, the size limit of 80 kilowatt hours for battery systems is too small for the anticipated blackout duration that's going to happen with commercial customers. So these proposed regulations are very bad for customers and very bad for the state of California as we desperately need to prop up our grid with energy storage systems installed both for commercial and residential. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I'm Doug Esposito, and I'm the Renewable Energy Practice Leader for Assured Partners of California. We're a national insurance brokerage, and I've been working in the solar space for probably about 15 years. We probably employ about 500 people in the state of California. Based out of Sacramento, we have LA and San Diego offices as well. I'm also here to oppose the regulations as proposed. I mean, two simple points. 80 kWh is just too small. There needs to be greater flexibility in that. And the statement number two, that storage is not a part of the solar system, candidly, I mean, it's just kind of silly and inaccurate. If I date myself a little bit, I mean, solar and battery storage is like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, they just go. It's as simple as that. With these regulations, though, I think if they're approved as is, it would be detrimental. It will hurt the small businesses, job creation. At the end of the day, it always will cost that homeowner or that business owner more money, and it's going to hurt adoption of the battery storage. So I am in favor of council's language that they put forward, and I hope you guys will consider that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Megan Stimler. I'm here with Solar Hut, a C46 contractor. This rule is illogical and harmful. The board's proposed rule makes absolutely no sense in the light of realities of the solar industry and battery installation. First, the rule distinguishes between allowing C46 contractors to do contemporary battery installations, but banning them from battery retrofits has no factual basis. Functionality, there's no difference in the mechanical installation or labor between installing a battery at the time of solar or as a retrofit. The proposed decision or proposed rule will also undermine the ability of C46 contractors offering maintenance and repairs on previous battery installations. Utility companies require the contractors to give a warranty on all equipment and its installation. If Solar has previously entered into a long-term contract with a customer, the inability to provide a comprehensive service will result in contractual disputes or early contract terminations. Yet the board proposed rules would effectively bar C46 contractors from doing the promised maintenance work on battery installations we install. This inability to provide a complete solar solution that includes battery under a workmanship warranty might negatively impact my company's reputation and brand image. Customers may perceive our company as incomplete or lack of expertise, thereby affecting the trust in our company's capabilities. Not only does the proposed rule undermine Solar's ability to complete existing contracts, seek new jobs, and honor its warranty obligation,
30 seconds.
The rule also require the changes in our workforce. This decision would also mean losing our highly experienced lead foreman who has successfully completed thousands of installations over the last 13 years. He's an invaluable asset, and we would have to see a change in his livelihood after this decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susanna Portier. I'm a teacher from Berkeley. I'm opposed to this proposal. We Californians have the right to make energy from the sun without unreasonable interference by the utility. This is the definition of unreasonable interference. This proposal appears to be more about helping the utilities limit their access to rooftop solars and batteries, not about protecting consumers. The CSLB itself has found no evidence of a problem in the safety or quality of the work performed by licensed solar contractors. The CSLB has also acknowledged that while both are qualified to install batteries, licensed solar contractors study more extensively for battery installations than licensed electricians. Please vote no on this proposal.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room?
I'm Jack Ramsey, a licensed contractor in Tulare, California, C10, C46. I don't have a whole lot of real fancy words. We're in the central San Joaquin Valley. I oppose this mostly because the limit is way too low. My average consumer that I install solar for in the San Joaquin Valley uses over 100 kilowatts of power per day. So 80 kilowatts isn't big enough to get them through the evening and the next morning before the solar comes back, the sun comes back out. Real simple. Please oppose it.
Thank you for your comments. I will now ask the moderator to explain how commenters will present their comments over WebEx and take up to 10 comments. Moderator, begin with your instructions and open the window for comments.
Yeah, for those of us joining by phone and not on WebEx, if you want to offer public comment, press *3 on your phone to raise your hand. When it is your turn to speak, I will unmute your line and you will have 2 minutes to speak. If at any point you decide you no longer want to comment, press *3 again to lower your hand. For those of you on WebEx with a computer, tablet, or smartphone, you have 2 options. One, you can use the chat feature to send me, the moderator, a chat letting me know you have a comment, or you can click the raise hand feature in the WebEx application. When it is your turn, I will announce your name and will unmute you, allowing you 2 minutes to make public comment. At the end of your comment, or when your allotted time ends, the line will again be muted. First public comment from WebEx is from Al Rich. Al, you have been unmuted. Accept the request to unmute. You have 2 minutes to speak. Al Rich, can you unmute? All right, we will try Al Rich in a moment. Alex Landsberg, I'm sending you a request to unmute. You'll have 2 minutes to speak.
My name is Alex Landsberg. I'm the Research and Advocacy Director with the San Francisco Electrical Construction Industry. Thank you very much for allowing me to comment. 2 things. First of all, no other state in the union here allows solar contractors to install large storage systems. The idea that we're hearing from these contractors here that they're undertrained staff who are not are capable of doing this work is frankly deceiving and ultimately unsafe for California. The plain fact is that skilled and trained electricians are certified by the state to know everything that's going to be happening with these to be able to adjust on the fly to make sure that that our homes are safe, that our communities are safe, and that we don't spark any wildfires. It is absolutely baffling to hear from contractors. Let's be clear, contractors who do not do the work themselves take credit for the labor of their undertrained workers and go ahead and say that they can go start doing complex stuff. The fact, as I said, the fact is, skilled and trained electricians, we have hundreds of thousands of them in the state. We've seen the comparisons between C46 and C10 contractors in terms of quantity, availability. We've seen cost analyses. All of their comments don't stand up to scrutiny, and I urge you to put a limit on what these solar contractors can do.
Hello, am I on?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my name's Al Rich. I've been dedicated to solar for 44 years. I'm the president of ACR Solar International. My company installs solar electric systems, batteries for residential and commercial customers. We employ 25 employees in our company based in Carmichael. And I'm here to express my opposition to the regulations as proposed. As has been said, threshold's too small, timeline is too tight. Battery storage has been combined with solar for decades. And it's vital that we be able to continue to serve our customers, to be able to do retrofits, repairs, and warranty work on solar and storage systems, as I said, we've been doing for decades. With regulations as proposed, CSLB will be simultaneously hurting small business, thousands of good paying jobs, and the growing need for energy storage that we need so much, and consumers we serve. I support CalS's proposed alternative language. Thank you.
Andrew Tanner, we sent you a request to unmute. You will have 2 minutes to speak once you've unmuted.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Andrew Tanner, and I am VP of Product at Yotta Energy. My company is the manufacturer of a 1 kilowatt hour energy storage technology that is about the size of a briefcase and installs directly beneath solar modules on commercial rooftops. If a system is 100 kilowatt hours in size, then there are 100 of our batteries deployed under 100 solar modules. If it is 500 kilowatt hours in size, then there are 500 battery units. It forms an intrinsic part of the solar installation, with each unit only being inches beneath the solar module. We employ 35 employees and are based in Austin, Texas, and have a number of employees based here in California, myself included. I'm here today to express my opposition to the regulations as not considered part of a solar energy system is totally inaccurate and harmful. Yotta Energy's innovation is the simplicity of the installation. Indeed, every person in the room today and on the call could safely install our battery technology with only a few minutes of training. Let me repeat that. Every person in this room and on the call today could safely install our battery technology with only a few minutes of training.
30 seconds.
The debate over whether a C46 contractor should be limited in their ability to install Yotta technology at any scale is absurd. With these regulations as proposed, the CSLB will simultaneously be hurting small businesses, the generation of jobs here in California, the rise of energy storage, and the consumers that we all serve. I support CalS's proposed alternative language. Thank you.
Ara Agopian, you are unmuted. You have 2 minutes to speak.
Hello, my name is Ara Agopian. I'm the CEO of Solar Insure. I live in Costa Mesa. I'm a licensed insurance broker specializing in the solar industry for 20 years. I'm opposed to the proposed solar battery regulation because it will have a significant negative impact on the solar industry. There's no evidence from a risk management perspective that C46 contractors increase risk in solar installations. Our data across tens of thousands of installations do not support this regulation, and I support CalS's proposed change to the proposal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The next several comments are from people on the phone, so I don't have names. So if you are calling in, please be listening to be prompted to unmute yourself. I am sending an unmute request now to a caller. If you've been prompted, please unmute. You have 2 minutes to speak. You are unmuted. You can go ahead and speak.
My name is Art Burnett. I live in the city of Lakewood. I'm opposed to the proposed regulation on solar battery installations. Training and vocational trade schooling is common and much utilized necessity for solar trade. We need to accept the fact that the education obtained by solar workers is as valuable and as accredited as electricians' trades are. The experience necessary to install battery storage is basic to the solar installation trade already to date. That doesn't mean every solar worker journeyman is certified to do this work, but it's necessary and required for these workers to be trained and eventually become certified. To impose a new regulation on solar battery work that would decertify the existing tradespeople in the field that have already been doing the work to the code of regulations is not only ridiculous, but ludicrous. Solar contractors are currently licensed by the state board, and their ability to install batteries should not be infringed. Solar contractors already study battery installation much more than electricians do. They do quality work, so there's no need to shift to a trade that actually does far less work with batteries and consequently far less training in the solar battery field. The proposed regulation will only drive up the cost of solar batteries to consumers and put thousands of solar workers out of work. Thank you for listening to a working class tradesman.
Can you please repeat your name?
Art Burnett, City of Lakewood, retired.
Thank you. We'll be sending another caller a prompt to unmute. Once you are unmuted, you will have 2 minutes to speak.
Hi, my name is Tom Perez. I live in San Diego. I'm a blind veteran who relies on experienced and expert professionals to do work on my house. I'm opposed to the proposed solar battery regulation because it impedes my right to contact my solar provider to install a solar battery. Solar Optimum is an excellent solar provider power company. They streamline the installation implementation process to ensure very timely activation of my solar power system. Their licensed solar power installers did an awesome job of putting the panels on my roof. They worked well with the city to ensure their work permits were pulled and the inspector was there at the right time. Of course, Solar Optimum's installers' work was past inspection the first time. Changing the way solar batteries are installed is unnecessary. Right now, all licensed solar installers receive the training and know how to get the job done right. As the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Solar power companies installing battery storage systems is working very well right now. There is no need to change how it is working. Thank you.
I've sent another caller a request to unmute. Once you are unmuted, you will have 2 minutes to speak.
My name is Jeff Lounsbury. I'm with Calcom Energy, in Fresno, California. We employ 100 employees installing solar and battery for farmers. I've been working installing batteries and solar for farmers for 15 years in California, and I oppose these regulations. The threshold is far too small, and I also want to make everyone aware that the California Public Utility Commission has passed a net billing tariff and now a revised net energy metering aggregation tariff that both clearly incentivize the installation of battery storage. They disincentivize solar PV and are incentivizing contractors like Calcom and others to work on battery storage. If you take this opportunity away from us, This is going to be headwinds that the industry cannot handle, and many, many jobs are going to be lost because this is the opportunity for us to find work and make work in this new difficult regulatory environment. So please take a look at these new proposed net billing tariff and revised net energy metering aggregation tariff to understand that battery storage is critical and retrofits of battery storage to the work of our workforce and moving forward. Thank you.
Danette, I've sent you a request to unmute. Once you're unmuted, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. My name is Danette Abbott-Wicker, and I live in Orange, California. I am opposed to the proposed solar battery regulation because most solar and battery systems are installed by licensed solar contractors rather than electricians. The solar contractor's license is a specialty trade that has been around for over 40 years in California. Licensed solar contractors train more extensively on battery installations than licensed electricians because it's such a core part of what they do. If a solar user wants to add a battery to their existing solar system or make repairs or modification to their existing battery, they usually have the original solar installer do the work or risk voiding their warranty. Thus, these proposals put the customer in an impossible situation in which state regulations would force them to hire someone else to do the work, voiding their warranty in the process. In addition, these rules would remove thousands of existing local solar companies and workers from the market, including very experienced battery installers. This would limit choices for consumers and drive up the cost of getting solar and/or a battery. Thank you.
I've sent a request to unmute to a caller. Once you have unmuted, you will have 2 minutes to speak.
Hi, good morning. California State Licensing Board, thank you for the open forum. My name is Renee Donaldson. I have a company in Carlsbad, California, and we specialize in battery storage. We've been in business since 2009, and we have over a dozen employees, and we've built our business around battery storage from telecom through complete off-grid systems to hybrid residential and commercial applications. And in that time, we've designed thousands of systems that exceed the 80 kilowatt hour threshold. The recommendation is far too small. Installing solar with storage has been synergized for a long time, and there's no reason to separate them. It's a single system. Lastly, with our manufacturers, we educate, train, and empower our C46 solar contractors to size, design, and install these systems correctly. They're experienced, skilled, and certified to install them. The barriers on size do not make sense when it's the training itself that's the concern. This proposal is harmful to our industry and the communities we serve. Thank you.
One more on WebEx, and we'll return to the room. One more on WebEx.
Cecilia Agrion, I've sent you a request to unmute. You'll have 2 minutes to speak once you're unmuted.
Consulting firm in San Diego, California. I've been in the solar energy business for more than 20 years. And since then, we have seen, if somebody there will not deny that the amount of work that has been created through distributed generation solar has been incredible. Thousands and thousands of new companies and all well-trained. I worked for a manufacturer for 17 years, and as a manufacturer of solar equipment, I can tell you that we all try to make it plug and play so that it is easy and is fast for training. So it is mind-boggling to me to see that your board will propose or will want to pass regulation that will actually kill thousands of workers, jobs, and companies in the state. And I just please ask that you do not pass this regulation. I support the modifications or the proposals from CALSA. And I remind you that your responsibility is to help employment growth. But this regulation will do the opposite and will actually affect thousands of families that rely on solar business in their own work. And also that to remind you that all these companies have been around for 20, 40 years. And if nothing has been going wrong, terribly wrong with what they're doing, why do you want to stop them now when we need more batteries than ever? So please, please do not vote yes on this. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now ask the moderator to close the comment window and we'll resume taking comments in this hearing room. If there's anybody that can provide a comment, please come to the podium.
Should I just speak? Great, thank you. My name is Janine Cotter. I'm the majority shareholder, co-founder, and CEO of Luminol. My husband and I co-founded Luminol in 2004, and I became the C46 license qualifier for Luminol in May of 2011. Luminol is a majority woman-owned solar battery energy storage specialty design build construction company in San Francisco. For the last 19 years, we've designed and built rooftop solar and solar battery energy storage systems for single and multi-family homes, nonprofits, and businesses throughout the Bay Area. According to the San Francisco Department of Building Inspections permit data, Luminol installed 60% of the solar battery energy storage systems in San Francisco in 2022. C46 contractors have the expertise to install solar battery energy storage. The proposed rules would prevent them from doing the work that they do today, harming them, the workers, harming Luminol, and other solar installers, and in particular harming consumers. Solar battery energy storage hours worked under the C46 license do not count towards electrical certification. Thus, the rule would prevent solar workers from doing the work that they do today without offering a path to take the certified electrician's exam, which means that they would have to start at ground zero and not have any credit.
30 seconds.
California needs a diverse career pathways to ensure a professional, diverse workforce. The proposed rulemaking would use licensing to create additional barriers to career and professional progression for individuals whose life experiences precluded them from enrolling in traditional construction apprentices when they joined the workforce. To meet the workforce needs of the 21st century and beyond, we need to provide additional and diverse career pathways to ensure talented women and others are included in the good jobs for our trade. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pam Kwan, and I'm a certified electrician and crew lead at Luminol Solar of San Francisco. I started in March of 2013 as a Gold solar installer trainee. At that time, I was uncertain of the trajectory in my life, but I was certain I thoroughly enjoyed working in the clean energy field. My passion in solar has sparked my curiosity to further educate myself regarding all aspects of the build, introducing me to the National Electrical Code. I challenged myself to understand the code with each build I touched and beam with pride with each inspection I flawlessly passed. That became my new obsession. I've taken numerous code class at various educational facilities to gain a varied interpretation of the code, to continually evolve myself in my craft. In 2018, I passed my California General Electrician's exam on my first attempt. If the proposed rule before you had existed when I started, I would not be where I am today. I've been on thousands of roofs and installed thousands of solar paired battery energy storage systems, which has been instrumental in the craft person I am today. It would be detrimental to the clean energy industry and its consumers if the opportunity of electrical certification isn't equitably available to my colleagues in the industry as it was to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room? Okay, I'll return it to the moderator. To open the window for comments.
All right, just a couple of reminders in case anyone joined the WebEx late. If you are joining us by phone and not on the WebEx, and you have public comment to offer, you can press *3 on your phone to raise your hand. When it's your turn to speak, I will unmute your line and you will have 2 minutes to speak. If at any point you decide you no longer want to comment, dial *3 again to raise your hand. For those on the WebEx application with a computer, tablet, or smartphone, you can use the chat feature to send me, the moderator, a private message letting me know you have a comment. Or you can use the hand raise function in the WebEx application. When it's your turn, I will announce your name and unmute you, allowing you 2 minutes to make your public comment. At the end of your comment, or when your allotted time ends, the line will again be muted. I'm sending a request to unmute a caller right now. Please accept that request, and once you are unmuted, you will have 2 minutes to speak. I've sent one more request to that same caller to unmute. Please accept the request, and you have 2 minutes to speak.
Hi, this is Mike Beggs, a homeowner in San Jose. I'm opposed to the proposed solar battery regulation because it would make it more difficult to install whole home backup or off-grid systems. This proposal will limit rooftop solar when we should be doing everything we can to promote more rooftop solar. And the limit of 80 kilowatts is too low. So please vote no on this proposal. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've sent a request to another caller to unmute. Please accept the request and you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
This is Dennis. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Dennis, and I live in Cypress, California. My family and I are new solar system owners, and we are very proud that we have already offset over 19 tons of carbon from the 26 megawatt hours solar power produced since it was turned on in September 2021. We also have a 10K battery backup that helps offset our electricity use during on-peak times and protects us during power outages. Now retired and living on a fixed income, we believe that we've had a firm 20-year deal with our licensed solar system contractor, but now the California State License Board wants to change the rules to break our deal. Now we understand that the California State License Board wants to allow only licensed electricians to repair my solar system or to add an additional battery to our system. If anyone other than my installing solar system contractor touches my solar battery system, it will void our 20-year warranty. Who is going to cover the cost of this to homeowners and businesses? Is the California State License Board going to cover the cost of this loss to us? Solar system contractors have expertise in expanding battery systems, like my 10K battery system. For example, it has specific built-in microinverters that must be properly programmed after being installed. There is no way just a licensed electrical contractor will be able to properly expand or repair my system, existing battery system. All of these questions will cause added costs and delays to me and other homeowners and businesses if you change the rules. So please protect all California solar system owners and keep the existing rules in place. Thank you.
Shireen Burkholz, I've sent you a request to unmute. You'll have 2 minutes to speak once you've unmuted. Shireen, I see you've unmuted, but we cannot hear you. Make sure your mic is unmuted as well. Shireen has lowered their hand and it's not there anymore. I'm sending another request to unmute to a caller. Once you have unmuted, you will have 2 minutes to speak.
Hello, my name is Patricia Blevins. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I live in San Jose, and up until this proposal, I believe the CSLB did important work protecting consumers and maintaining contractor standards. However, this proposal appears more about helping utilities like the felon, PG&E, limit access to rooftop solar and battery by destroying the solar contractor industry than it does about protecting consumers. The proposal would revoke the ability of licensed solar contractors to install or repair solar batteries, leaving the consumer to deal with far less trained and or skilled licensed electricians to install or repair their solar batteries. Your own research has clearly revealed that solar contractors have skilled workers with far more training in battery installation and problem solving than licensed electricians do. In 2018, the CSLB rejected the almost exact same proposal from the power utilities. There is no reason that benefits the consumer for the CSLB to pass the proposal now. The only thing that has changed is we have 5 more years of excellent results by the solar contractor skilled workers installing and maintaining solar batteries, including in 2019 on my home. However, if the CSLB passes this proposal and I have problems with my solar battery, I cannot call my solar contractor Sunworks. My warranty will be voided, and I would be forced to employ a licensed electrician who may have minimal skills with solar batteries. How is this remotely fair? I ask the CSLB to again reject this proposal, which only harms the consumer. Thank you.
Shireen Burkholz, I have sent you a request to unmute.
My name is Shireen Burkholz and I live in Long Beach. I am opposed to the proposed solar battery regulation because it could void the warranty in my existing solar system. I currently have only solar panels. My husband and I would like to add battery to our system in the future. Your proposal would put me in an impossible situation in which state regulations would force me to hire an electrician to do the battery install, which would void my solar system warranty. Thank you.
Aaron Keel, I sent you a request to unmute. Once you've accepted the request, you will have 2 minutes to speak.
Good morning. My name is Erin Keel. I'm the Senior Manager of Government Affairs at Sonova. Sonova is a leading residential rooftop solar and storage company. We have over 350,000 customers and work with hundreds of installers in California. The science is clear. We are not acting fast enough to mitigate the climate crisis. Solar and storage is imperative to meet our clean energy goals. Restricting solar contractors' ability to add batteries or make repairs to existing solar and storage is deeply concerning and backwards. The proposed restrictions would harm consumers by forcing them to hire different contractors to do the work. They would also remove experienced battery installers from the market, limit choices for consumers like myself, who also have a solar system, and drive up the cost of solar-powered batteries. The board is well aware of the alarming shortage of C10 contractors. Furthermore, there is no evidence to suggest that licensed solar contractors are not equipped to safely service solar and storage. We should be expanding, not restricting, the categories of licensed contractors that can deploy solar and batteries. I support CALSA's proposed alternative language.
As a reminder to those who are on WebEx or on the phone, everyone who is in attendance will have a chance to make their comment. There are several dozen people at this moment with their hand raised. Please have some patience. We will get to you and your comment will be heard. Chris Gleed, I'm sending you a request to unmute. You'll have 2 minutes to speak once you've accepted.
Good morning, Chris Gleed, Senior Project Manager in the Renewables Division at Baker Electric, based in Escondido, California. I support the proposed regulations. While an energy storage system and PV system can be paired together, they are separate, unique systems with independent utility requirements. Furthermore, an energy storage system carries significantly greater fire and safety risks than PV installation and maintenance. Improperly installed energy storage systems can result in electric arc flashes, fire, explosion, electric shock, hazardous gases or chemical leaks. Setting a size limit on energy storage systems that can be considered incidental and supplemental work will reduce safety risks and is good policy. While an 80 kilowatt hour threshold seems high to me, I understand that the CSLB desires to set a threshold that is high enough to essentially eliminate disruption in the industry. I urge the board to adopt these regulations and look forward to seeing these positive changes implemented at the earliest possible time. Thank you.
Damon Franz, I sent you a request to unmute.
Good morning. I'm Damon Franz, Senior Policy Manager at Tesla. Tesla is California's largest manufacturing employer, supporting nearly 43,000 jobs in the state. In addition to manufacturing the world's best-selling electric vehicles, Tesla also manufactures and installs battery storage systems at all scales, from the small 5 kilowatt systems on single-family homes to massive grid-scale systems in the hundreds of megawatts that keep the grid stable and running. While Tesla holds both a C46 and a C10 license, we oppose the regulations as proposed. We feel the threshold could be safely raised to 280 kilowatt hours as proposed by CALSA. The small modular plug-and-play batteries like our 13.5 kilowatt hour Powerwall system can be stacked together or installed on different parts of a premises well beyond the proposed 80 kilowatt hour limit without increasing the safety risk. Tesla provides rigorous training in Powerwall installation and safely to our employees and hundreds of solar providers across the state who act as our channel partners. We also feel that C46 contractors should be allowed to retrofit and maintain battery storage systems on existing solar arrays, an outcome that would be consistent with the state's policy objectives of ensuring that all solar is paired with batteries going forward. And we feel the implementation timeline should be extended by several years to allow businesses sufficient time to get their employees trained and licensed as electricians. With the state's ambitious climate goals requiring significant additions of battery storage to the grid and the CPUC's new net billing tariff effectively requiring storage on all new solar arrays, the CSLB should be careful to ensure its regulations do not harm small solar and battery contractors and hinder those important policy objectives. Thank you.
I sent a request to unmute to a caller. Once you've accepted the request, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Good morning. My name is Rennie Wise. I live in Fremont. I am in opposition to the Contractor State License Board proposal concerning home battery systems. I'm currently leasing a solar system in Fremont, which has been running for over 10 years now very successfully. In the near future, I am planning on adding backup batteries to my system once I can afford it. If these new regulations go into effect, it will make it unaffordable for me as a retiree to ever get batteries, in addition to potentially voiding my warranty with my current provider. The CSLB does important work protecting consumers and maintaining contractor standards. Unfortunately, this proposal will only harm consumers rather than help them. Why are we trying to solve a problem that does not even exist? It only benefits utility companies' efforts to eliminate their only competition for solar generation and battery storage. Utility monopolies on energy only drive up rates for all consumers and eliminates the need for innovation. I'm asking all the members of this board to reject their unfair proposal. Thank you for considering my views.
Christopher Smith, I sent you a request to unmute.
My name is Christopher Smith, and I own and operate a utility scale and commercial energy storage microgrid and solar company. And I would like to express my approval of the proposed regulations concerning the size of the energy storage systems. The magnitude of these systems are escalating rapidly with behind-the-meter commercial configurations in the multiple megawatt level, putting them on par with utility scale systems. If there are no clear parameters to define when an energy storage system is deemed incidental and supplemental, there's a risk that utility scale systems could be installed by C46 contractors merely by pairing them with just a handful of solar panels to game the system. It is notable that no other state permits contractors to install energy storage systems. However, if the CSLB decides to authorize this, it is essential to have the proposed regulations in place. They offer an essential restriction on the maximum capacity of battery energy storage systems as a solar contractor can install. There's a direct correlation between larger battery energy storage capacities and elevated risks of arc flash fires and explosions. California has already seen big headline news about the failures of utility scale and large commercial systems. Furthermore, arc flashes can produce extreme temperatures over 12,000 degrees Celsius, sufficient to melt metal and trigger fires and explosions. Not for nothing, 12,000 degrees Celsius is over 2 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Feel free to fact check that. Therefore, the proposed 80 kilowatt hour system limitations appears both reasonable and necessary given the extent of allowing C46 contractors a limited scope to incorporate storage into a solar energy system. I believe the proposed language strikes an effective balance between harnessing solar energy and ensuring both public and labor safety. Thanks.
I'm sending a request to unmute to a caller. Once you've accepted the request, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
I'm Barbara Morton, and I am opposed to the proposed solar battery systems. I wasn't the first to go solar because I couldn't afford it. These new rules will harm me. I went solar to help against climate change and reduce my electric cost. I couldn't afford the system and a battery backup at the same time. I plan to add a battery later, but now it may never happen if these proposed rules are accepted. Our world needs us to have complete solar systems. Texas learned this the hard way with complete grid failure. Solar saved them this summer. I appreciate the work that CSLB does to protect consumers, but from what I understand of the proposal, it would void my warranty because my original contractor couldn't install my battery. What is the benefit to consumers by requiring electricians to install batteries rather than the licensed solar contractors who have a lot more training than the electricians to do so, and who have been doing so successfully without incident for years? What and where is the proof solar contractors aren't skilled and competent to continue to do so? What is the consumer's benefit in reducing the number of more qualified solar contractors to install, service, and modify solar batteries, thus a reduction in consumer choices, which will increase both cost of getting solar and or batteries? Again, what is the consumer's benefit? Why limit the amount of storage? Storage should be based on the intended need and use. What if I want to live off the grid? Then I should be able to buy and install appropriate battery storage using more trained and skilled professional and solar contractors. All in all, this proposal is anti-consumer and solar, and the consumer and the world lose. Thank you.
I'm going to take a moment to scan the room and see if there's anybody here that would like to make a comment. Close the window for a moment.
Can you hear me okay? Yes. So Bernadette Del Chiaro, Executive Director of the California Solar and Storage Association. We represent over 750 businesses installing solar and energy storage systems throughout the state of California. I'm here to submit 3 separate letters along with a packet of over 70 individual letters. We will also email these to you for the record. As you've heard today, the proposed regulations would do tremendous harm to the state of California's efforts to achieve clean energy goals, to hundreds of small businesses, and to consumers. We are opposed to the regulations as proposed. You say yourself you have no evidence in the statement of reasons to support these restrictions on solar C46 contractors. We believe at CalSA that there is no need to further restrict the C46 contractor. We do believe there's a need to restore and clarify the ability for the C46 contractor to retrofit and repair and maintain existing systems. In the spirit of compromise, however, CalSA is proposing alternate language. This language would clarify and protect the ability for the C46 contractor to retrofit, repair, and maintain battery energy storage systems connected to solar energy systems. It would also, and by retrofit, what we mean by that is if a battery is being added to an existing solar system, that is a retrofit, and that should be allowed. We are willing to accept a limit in the spirit of compromise that we don't think it is necessary to protect public health and safety. And we have proposed a limit of 280 kilowatt hours. And we would ask for the commission to give us several years in order to adjust our businesses, train up our workforce, and comply with the restrictions for batteries above 280 kilowatt hours. With that, we thank you for allowing us to submit these documents and for hearing our testimony today.
Thank you.
Do I hand these to you or?
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Freddie Kotlier. I'm with the California and Nevada Labor Management Cooperation Committee. I support the regulations. The opposition is a small group, a subgroup of about 300 solar contractors who are looking for special treatment so they can use low-paid, under-trained workers to perform potentially dangerous electrical installations on large battery storage installations. In context, there are over 25,000 contractors currently fully licensed to install both solar and battery storage projects, including the vast majority of C46 contractors who already hold a C10 license. Those 25,000 contractors install 94% of the solar and energy storage systems in the state, and almost all of them are small businesses. Studies have shown that the 330 C46 contractors who don't already hold an additional C10 license would be allowed to install large energy storage are responsible for just 6% of the solar installations in the state and only 3% of energy storage. Furthermore, over 95% of energy storage system projects are under 30 kilowatt hours in size. Under the proposed 80 kilowatt threshold, those 300 contractors would thus be allowed to install over 95% of the paired energy storage systems, even though they currently just install 3% of them.
30 seconds.
So the claim that this would somehow create a disruption in the industry has no merit and is not supported by the facts. The proposed 80 kilowatt hour threshold would have no meaningful impact on solar and energy storage installation other than to improve safety and quality, no meaningful impact on jobs, fighting climate change, the cost of the installation, and would not void warranties.
Good morning. Tom Ensel on behalf of the Statewide Association of Electrical Workers. The electrical workers that association represent, they support solar, they support energy storage, they install the vast majority of those systems. They also support these regulations. This is not about, whether or not, we can meet our solar goals and energy storage goals. It's just about contractor classification and maintaining the integrity of the contractor licenses. Right now, most contractors have multiple licenses if they can do more work than just what their specific specialty license allows. And I'll say this idea that the sky is falling just does not, compart with the facts. Every single contractor that spoke today, Aztec Solar, Barry Simmons, Calcom Energy, Luminol, Go Solar, Solar Optimum, every contractor that was mentioned, they all already have another license besides C46 that allows them to install energy storage. Almost all of them C10. In fact, Solar Optimum, it looks like they don't even have a C46 license because you don't need it. They have a C10 license. So these regulations will not impact those contractors at all because they already meet the requirements under this code. And really all we're saying is that at a certain point, it doesn't make sense that an energy storage system would be incidental and supplemental to a solar system. Once you get to a certain size, it's just no longer credible. You're not going to install a whole new roof when you put on solar, although you are going to be doing some minor roof work in order to actually install the solar on the roof. You know, there's a limitation on what's considered incidental and supplemental. There's been a dispute over what that is. This settles that issue once and for all. That's good for the industry. Thank you.
By the way, it's Cinnamon Energy Systems.
I was mentioning, can I make one comment about what he said? I didn't use up my 3 minutes.
It's not here for discussion.
And
I mean,
what is the
comment?
basis for rebuttals?
This isn't a forum for rebuttals or discussion. It's just
So
providing
there's
a
no
comment.
rebuttals here.
I'm sorry?
Right, there's no, this was not set up for rebuttals, right?
Correct.
But I don't have a C10 license. Just want to make that clear. Aztec Solar does not.
You have a General A license. It's allowed to do it. General B license. Yeah.
Can we not have discussions in the room? We need to follow the Administrative Procedure Act where we take your comments, we have to respond to your comments in writing. So we're just here to listen to your input, okay?
Megan Stimler with Solar Hut. We are exclusively a C46 contractor and we will not begin a C10 license. We've been installing batteries since 2009. Yes, I've already spoke. Yep. The reason why we're not going to change our license or add a new one is because my entire staff of installers who have over 13 years experience would all have to be replaced and their livelihoods would be broken. I would rather go into a different field and help them along the way than tell them that their job is replaceable.
Yeah, but she's out of time.
Yeah, that's not going to be on the record.
Taking notes.
If there's anything else I want to provide a comment that hasn't done so already, is anybody in the room? If no one else in the room, we'll return it to the WebEx.
All right, for those joining us by phone, you can dial *3 to raise your hand, and when it's your turn to speak, I will send you a request to unmute, and you will have 2 minutes to speak at that time. If you are on the WebEx application on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, you can either send me, the moderator, a chat letting me know you have a comment, or you can click the raise hand button. When it's your turn, I will announce your name, send you a request to unmute, and you will have 2 minutes to make your comment. At the end of your comment, or when your allotted time ends, the line will again be muted. I know there are a lot of people waiting to make comments. Thank you for your patience. We appreciate it. We will get to everyone and hear everyone's comments. I'm sending a request to unmute to Zainab Badi.
Zainab Badi. I'm with Grid Alternatives, which is a nonprofit that's installed single-family solar for thousands of customers that are low to moderate income through state programs like SASH and DAC-SASH. Thank you to the board for your time and efforts on clarifying this issue, as it is a growing need for our customers. I wanted to raise one concern that we had with the proposed language is that it doesn't consider battery retrofits to solar to be incidental and supplemental to the work of C46 solar under 80 kilowatt hours. And so while Grid holds both the C46 and a C10, we're concerned that this could slow down our ability to provide storage to upwards of 14,000 low-income solar clients that we have that already have solar and that have a huge demand for storage just because of the shortage of electricians in the small scale single family residential market. The state of California is investing very heavily in storage incentives, especially for disadvantaged Californians. So it would be a disservice to delay any access that these communities have to storage, especially in the face of increasing natural disasters and resiliency needs. So I'd really encourage the board to take that into consideration as you make your decision. And thank you very much again for your time.
I've sent a caller a request to unmute. Once you accept the request, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Fothergill, and I am from the National Electrical Contractors Association's Northern California chapter. We represent more than 100 electrical contractors who employ skilled and trained state-certified electricians who have received the extensive education and training to properly and safely install these energy storage systems. We are in support of the proposed regulations as these modifications provide greater protection to not only consumers, but to the workers and first responders as well. The proposed regulations ensure that the larger, more complex battery energy storage system installations remain under the proper classification of the appropriately qualified electrical contractors who are required by law to use state-certified general electricians. Again, this not only ensures the safety and quality of these installations, but also maintains the integrity of the C10 license. Although we'd like to see greater safety protections for the smaller systems, we don't want to delay any further and therefore urge the board to adopt these regulations. Thank you for your time.
Christina Marquez, I sent you a request to unmute.
Good morning, Christina Marquez. I live in San Diego. I work day in and day out with skilled electricians, and I'm a journeyman myself. I support the proposed regulations and the establishment of an 80 kilowatt hour threshold. The difference in education and training between a solar installer and a licensed electrician is reflected in the high rate of consumer complaints against PV installers as compared to licensed electricians. There is a 32% complaint rate against C46 contractors and 5.6% complaint rate against C10 electricians. The board does not need to wait for additional consumer complaints specific to energy storage system installation against C45 contractors in order to determine that a size limit on what energy storage systems are considered incidental and supplemental is appropriate. Please vote to support the proposed regulations. Thank you.
I'm sending a caller a request to unmute. Once you've accepted, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Sending the request one more time. If you're prompted to accept the request, please do, and you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jeff Parr. I'm the owner of Solar Technologies. We are a C46 and C10 contractor in the greater San Francisco Bay Area. We employ about 90 full-time solar and energy storage experts in this region. We've installed close to 6,000 solar systems, roughly 1,000 energy storage systems, and we've been safely installing, servicing, and maintaining energy storage systems for nearly 2 decades at this point. I'm here to express my strong opposition to the regulations as proposed. Contrary to the fear-mongering we've heard today, there is absolutely no data to support the claim that C46 contractors are not properly trained and cannot safely install energy storage systems. I repeat, there is no data to support these claims, and they should be considered baseless. We are in fact proof that there is strong precedent that C46 contractors have safely installed and serviced energy storage systems for decades. Contrary to these claims, much of the commercial energy storage is subcontracted to us by large C10 electrical contractors because they admittedly are not trained, do not follow, and do not understand energy storage in the market currently. Lastly, the CEC and CPUC are strongly incentivizing the adoption of energy storage paired with solar through their policies. And the CSLB policy restricting the usage of C46 contractors makes absolutely no sense when there's an alarming shortage of certified electricians in California. We ask you adopt CALS's proposed alternative language. The current threshold is too small, the timeline is too tight, the declaration that battery storage is not considered part of a solar energy system is totally inaccurate and harmful to the state, our environment, and tens of thousands of jobs. Thank you.
David Montner, I've sent you a request to unmute. Once you've accepted, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. David Mottner, sending you a request to unmute.
Me? Hold on a second. Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your time. Sorry for the trouble. I'm a little weak in that department. Hello, my name is David Mottner. I live in Canoga Park in the San Fernando Valley. I am opposed to the proposed solar battery regulation because I believe the CSLB is chucking out a major fundamental right envisioned by our state constitution and our forefathers that founded this nation, that freedom of choice, and it also weakens our state's mandate to become a greener state. I'm a 72-year-old disabled individual that depends on continuous electrical power, and that is why I'm considering installing a battery backup system. If the power companies can absolutely guarantee in writing that I will have continuous electrical power 100% of the time, 24/7, my need for a backup battery won't be as crucial. Can the power companies do that? Why is the CSLB allowed to determine which contractor I can or cannot use as long as they are properly licensed, bonded, and insured? Is it a safety or qualifications? What about the fact that all work is inspected by the county or city Department of Building and Safety and also requires approval by the local utility company before it can be used? Are we ignoring that along with the department's professional judgment capabilities? Most department systems are licensed solar contractors rather than electricians, and they've had the specialty trade for over 40 years. Most solar installers will not agree to work on an existing system done by the original installer. One reason is the risk of violating the original warranty. This has been an ongoing issue for 7 years, since 2016. May I remind the board of that on September 17th, 21, the California Soil Council verified a verified petition of writ of mandate and complaint for declaratory injunctive relief, and then agreed not to enforce it on October 1st. This change has been proposed solely by the California's privately owned power companies with very deep pockets. Thank you for.
David Reinerson, I'm sending you a request to unmute.
My name is David Reinerson, and I live in Huntington Beach. I'm a rooftop solar owner, and I'm interested in adding a battery system in the near future. The proposed regulation makes no sense. Batteries are part of an integrated system with rooftop solar and should be able to be installed and maintained by the same contractor. That would be the equivalent of saying plumbers could install your pipes, could not install showers, tubs, sinks, or toilets. At a time when California needs to triple rooftop solar and batteries to meet its climate goals, enacting a regulation like this would kneecap that effort. It smacks of yet another underhanded effort by the electric utilities to sacrifice the well-being of California and its residents to their greed for profits. I urge you to throw this proposed regulation on the scrap heap of history where it belongs and adopt CalSA's alternative proposal. Thank you.
Emily Brandt, I'm sending you a request to unmute, and then you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Emily Brandt, I sent you another request to unmute. Please accept the request, and you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
I live in Fresno, California, in an unincorporated area of the county. I have 46 panels, and some of them are not producing maximum energy because they were badly installed on a north-facing area with flat against the roof without elevation. If I were to add a battery to my system, I would void the warranty, as many have said. In addition, when we got this system, we hired, at great effort, finding an electrician to change our panel because it wasn't large enough. So we need a larger electrical panel. After that, we were able to go on and move forward, but we waited a good long time in order to do that. So this regulation would be just unworkable. Furthermore, I am really, frankly, shocked that the CSLB would come out with a proposal that restricts the number of contractors who are able and who are certified. Having been a pathway teacher in the CTE curriculum for 27 years, some of the time was before the CTE program, of course, I know how vital it is for students to have a pathway that is going to lead somewhere. To think now that you would change the game on that. All the students that I sent into programs like this are going to be told that they can't do this kind of installation work. I do not understand it, and I urge you to adopt the CALSA modifications. Thank you for the time you've allowed us. I appreciate it.
George Galamba, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. George Galamba, sending you another request to unmute. Please accept the request.
Work, but now it did. So I'm not in the business. I'm just a homeowner with a solar system, and I just want to share an experience I had. I had my system installed about 10 years ago, and I've developed an interest in putting in a battery. And a few months ago, I was in Costco and got buttonholed by the guy from Sunrun. My system was put in by Sun Power. Anyway, they came out and they gave me a bid to add a battery, but it required them to install additional panels on my roof on the east side. And I said, well, I don't want more panels. I just want a battery. And they said, no, we're sorry, we can't do that. We can't work on a competitor system. So if I understand what you're proposing, Sun Power won't be able to give me a battery because they installed the system, and Sunrun can't help me unless I add more panels, which I don't want to do. I don't understand the purpose of this. I listened to a couple of previous callers who supported the union. I've been a union member all my life. I support unions. But it looks to me like you guys are looking for a problem to find a solution for. I just don't see the need for it. I hope that you will think about what's best for the public. Thank you.
John Knox, sending you a request to unmute. Once you've accepted, you will have 2 minutes to speak.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. My name is John Knox, and my family and I live in Chula Vista. First, let me say that we have long had a good electrician. He is licensed, he is experienced, and we trust him. Now, back in 2006, we decided to install a rooftop solar electric system at our home, a process involving multiple steps, permits, and inspections. For this, did we go to our trusted electrician? No, we did not, because that isn't what he does. Instead, we went to a good solar contractor because that is what they do. Within a year or two, through no fault of our solar contractor, the inverter failed. Did we call our electrician? No, we called our solar contractor, who promptly and safely replaced the inverter and got our system back up and running. In 2017, we decided to upgrade and expand our solar, adding a few panels for more power. Did we contact our electrician? No, again, we contacted our solar contractor. They completed the upgrade safely in a timely manner and at a reasonable cost. Soon we plan to add battery storage to our solar. Should we be required to have our electrician do this? Of course not. As I said, he is good, but he doesn't do solar. To get this done safely and correctly, we want our solar contractor to do it.
30 seconds.
Electricians in California are going to be plenty busy in the coming years as more and more people take steps to electrify their homes. We plan to put our own electrician to work on several projects to electrify our home. But do we want him working on our solar? No, we don't. He himself agrees. For our solar, we want the expert, our solar contractor, not our electrician. Vote no. Thank you.
Gerald Manning, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
I'm Jared Manning. I'm a homeowner with rooftop solar from Burlingame. I'm opposed to the restrictions on battery work by solar installers. Let's face the harsh reality. Our world is about to be ravaged by climate change, and local resilient power generation will be critical to help deal with massive heat waves and grid failures. Thousands have died this year from climate-driven heat waves in the US alone. It will be tens of thousands in a decade, and we're not ready for this. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. Adding more rules and restrictions to battery installation will just further restrict solar installations, driving up climate change and heatwave disasters in the years ahead. In the absence of any clear evidence of increased risk, and years of evidence of no increased risk, coupled with the certainty of huge numbers of climate-related deaths in the future, I ask that you reject this regressive regulation. I do want to thank you for all your ongoing work in keeping Californians safe. It's fantastic, and I never think about it because you do. I do hope you will also vote to help keep us safe from the climate disasters that are coming. Thank you very much.
You can scan the room for anyone who has not provided a comment yet. If you want to come up to the podium and provide a comment. Seeing none, I will return to the moderator.
All right, just a quick reminder, if you're on the phone and you would like to speak, you can dial *3 to raise your hand. When it's your turn to speak, I'll send you a request to unmute and you'll have 2 minutes to speak at that point. If you're on a computer, tablet, or smartphone using the WebEx app, you can either send me, the moderator, a chat letting me know you have a comment, or you can use the raise hand feature. When it's your turn, I will announce your name and unmute you, allowing you 2 minutes to make a comment. At the end of your comment, or when your allotted time ends, the line will again be muted. We do have several people still waiting to make a comment. We appreciate your patience. You will be heard during today's hearing. Sending a request to unmute to Gretchen Newsom. Gretchen Newsom, sending another request to unmute.
Newsom, political coordinator and international representative for the 9th District of IBEW, speaking in support of the proposed regulations. And I share that, like you, I'm an appointed public member to a California board. And like you, I take very seriously the impacts that policy and regulation reform have on Californians and public safety. An energy storage system carries significantly greater fire and safety risks than solar. Improperly installed energy storage systems can result in deadly electric arc flashes, fires, explosions, electric shock, hazardous gases, or chemical leaks. Setting a size limit on energy storage systems that can be considered, quote, incidental and supplemental will reduce safety risks and is good policy. While I think that the 80 kilowatt is a little bit on the high end of what should be allowed, I support having the CSLB move forward to create certainty for the industry. And I find it strange that some of the opposition to these proposed public safety regulations already have C10 licenses, including Grid Alternatives and Solar Technologies. By supporting the proposed regulations, you will take the high road and ensure that electrical work, including energy storage, construction, and installation, is performed by C10 contractors that are mandated and regulated to employ a skilled and trained workforce of certified electricians. These individual workers that have achieved critical certifications and knowledge will protect the public from hazardous situations. Please support the proposed regulations as proposed. Thank you.
Heather Minner, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Good afternoon, thank you. I'm Heather Minner with Schutma, Hawley & Weinberger. I'm legal counsel for CALSA. First, I wanted to thank the CSLB staff for holding the hearing at CALSA's request and offering to provide the webinar. I think you heard we get a lot of great public participation this way, and I appreciate your efforts. My comments are in opposition to the proposed amendments to 16 CCR section 832.46, the solar contractor license classification, and to the CSLB's rulemaking procedures. CALSA has submitted my written comments and they speak for themselves. I'm just here to give a brief overview of them and what's been submitted. First of all, we have a letter to the CSLB reminding them that these proposed regulations are a project that is subject to CEQA and could have significant environmental impacts that must be analyzed before the board could approve the regulations. This proposed regulation will restrict the pool of experienced contractors and workers, suggesting that C10s and their certified electricians can quickly fill the gap, ignores the fact that there is a critical shortage of certified electricians. We have CALSA has submitted an analysis by an independent economic consultant who has verified this, in addition to the multiple testimony you've heard on this point. And you've also heard testimony that existing solar workers who are already qualified to install these systems cannot easily become certified electricians. This is another barrier to them, to their work that they do. We've also submitted a letter detailing violations of the APA. I'm sorry, did you say that was time?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So the APA violations of procedural substances are outlined as well. Thank you.
Lauren Nevitt, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Hey there, good morning and thank you. My name is Lauren Nevitt. I'm a Senior Director of Policy with Sunrun, and I appreciate the opportunity this morning to provide comment on the proposed rulemaking. Sunrun is the nation's leading provider of residential solar, battery storage, and home energy services. Nationally, we serve over 870,000 customers and to date have installed over 65,000 residential energy storage systems. We offer homeowners the ability to maximize their electrical consumption during peak hours and power through outages with clean and reliable home energy. As currently drafted, the proposed regulations will impede the ability of solar contractors to perform their livelihoods, serve customers, and execute on the state energy's goals. We at Sunrun are particularly concerned by the proposed regulatory language that would prohibit a C46 licensee from performing repair work on this very same energy storage system that was installed by that same licensee or crew, or from retrofitting an existing system installed by a C46 licensee. While we hold both C46 and C10 licenses, the ability for retrofit or repair work to be done by similar crews is very important. We support CALSA's proposed alternative language, and we really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Hunter Stern, I've sent you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
My name is Hunter Stern. I'm with the IBEW Local 1245, which represents utility workers in Northern and Central California. I support the proposed regulations. These modifications provide a much needed, a much needed clarity to the industry while also providing greater protection to consumers, workers, and particularly first responders, such as firefighters and utility workers. We need an upper limit in the size of BESS installations that are considered incidental and supplemental. The greater storage capacity of the new BESS systems, the greater the risk of fire or explosions, or the more difficult it is to extinguish such fires. For that reason, the California Fire Code imposes escalating and more complex safety regulations for larger BESS installations. The 80 kilowatt hour threshold may be on the high side for some of our safety concerns, but I appreciate the board's interest in selecting a threshold that would essentially eliminate disruptions in the residential installation industry. And we do understand that compromises are necessary in the development of good, sound regulations. These proposed regulations ensure the larger and more complex systems remain under the proper classification of qualified electrical contractors who are required by law to use state-certified general electricians. While we would like to see greater safety protections for the smaller systems as well, it is time to put this issue to rest. Therefore, I urge the board to adopt these regulations, and I look forward to seeing these positive changes implemented at the earliest possible time. I appreciate the board's work and deliberation, and I thank you for hearing my comments.
Mario Bargan, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Mario Bargan, sending you another request to unmute. Right, we'll go on to someone else. Micah Breeden, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
My name is Micah Breeden. I'm the Chief Financial Officer at Altera Solar. We're based in Santa Cruz, California. We've been in business for 20 years, and we focus on residential and commercial solar and battery storage systems. I oppose the proposed legislation as there's no data that supports the position that C46 contractors are not trained properly or qualified to install energy storage systems. I believe the threshold is too small, the timeline is too tight, and the declaration that battery storage is not considered part of a solar energy system is inaccurate and harmful. I support CALS's proposed alternative language. Thank you for your time.
Jeff Spies, I sent you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
I'm president of Planet Plan Sets in Anaheim, California. We're we draft permitting plan sets for solar contractors throughout the state, and together with our sister company, Go Green Solar, who supplies turnkey solar kits nationwide, we employ 20 people in the state of California. I also chair the CALSA Codes and Standards Committee, serve as secretary for NABCEP, the Solar Industry Certification Organization, and serve on the UL 9540 Standard Technical Panel, which is the safety standard for energy storage systems. So I care about safety and I care about quality. I'm here today to express my strong opposition to the regulations that's proposed. The 80 kilowatt hour threshold is too small. Timelines are too tight, and the declaration that battery storage is not considered part of the solar energy system, that's inaccurate and harmful. For goodness sakes, batteries have been a core part of solar installs since the birth of the PV industry. I made a documentary film on that, by the way. And while most systems installed over the past 15 years did not use batteries, from the 1970s through the early to mid 2000s, batteries were an integral part of almost all solar systems. And despite the incorrect statements made today, the vast majority of residential commercial solar plus storage systems have been safely installed under permits by C46 contractors. Like Mr. Spock from Star Trek, I believe in exercising logic based on facts. And since the CSLB has acknowledged there are no substantive safety concerns over the 20 plus years of C46 solar contractor installed systems, I feel I feel these proposed restrictions would be arbitrary and unreasonable. If the CSLB approves the regulation as proposed, it will hurt small businesses, jobs, and prevent residential and commercial consumers access to the benefits of energy storage, which are growing in criticality due to increasingly hot summers and an increasingly unreliable grid. I strongly support CALSA's proposed alternative language and would strongly encourage the CSLB support the CALSA modifications to the proposed regulations. Thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Marshall Merriam, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, folks. I'm Marshall Merriam. I'm a homeowner from San Jose with solar panels and storage installed. I'm here regarding proposed rules changes for battery installation. In particular, those removing authorizations for battery installations by solar contractors, Class C46. Why is a rule change necessary? I have not seen reports of safety or reliability problems with batteries. If this is a concern, a better solution would be through permitting and inspections changes. Is the intent to make battery installation more expensive, hence less common? If so, consider the alternatives. Greater dependence on the electrical grid with higher resulting costs and greater associated risks of rolling blackouts. California has identified electrification, that is automobiles, heat pumps, and water heaters, as a strategy for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. For residences that don't have enough electrical supply from the grid, batteries take on increased importance. I am urging you not to add this unnecessary roadblock to battery installation, a step that will impede California's achievement of climate goals and also decrease grid reliability. Thank you.
Casey, I sent you a request to unmute. Once you've accepted, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Casey, sending you a second request to unmute. Please accept the request, and you have 2 minutes to speak.
My name is Casey Sokoskis. I'm an IBW business rep representing the PG&E employees in San Jose. I support the regulations. These modifications provide much needed clarity to the industry while also providing greater protection to consumers, workers, and my first responders. While I'd like to see greater safety precautions for the smaller systems as well, this decision has been up in the air for many years. It's beyond time to put this issue to rest. Therefore, I urge the board to adopt these regulations and look forward to seeing these positive changes implemented at the earliest possible time. Thank you.
Joey, I've sent you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you will have 2 minutes to speak.
Hello, my name is Joey Appleton. I live in Northern California, and I work as an electrical applications engineer at Freedom Forever and hold a valid California electrical license. I'm here to express my opposition to the proposal by the CSLB to limit the C46 contractors, which will unfairly limit the ability to properly serve customers by restricting the ability to provide energy upgrades for changes in energy needs, and more importantly, the ability to provide quick and competent service and maintenance for existing systems. Our battery technicians are trained and certified internally and by the manufacturers whose products we offer, making them the most qualified and competent individuals for installing, maintaining PV and energy storage products. I believe the CSLB must reconsider this proposition and continue to allow solar contractors to install and maintain energy storage systems as we currently do. We are well-trained, qualified, and competent tradespeople that have a long record of safety in effectively installing and servicing PV and storage systems. By allowing this proposal to go through, the CSLB will jeopardize the jobs of 776 Freedom Forever employees in California and hurt our ability to properly serve our customers. I support CALSA's proposed alternative language. Thank you for the opportunity to voice my opinion and for your time and consideration.
Kathy McLaren, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
My name is Kathy McLaren, and I represent the National Electrical Contractors Association and the IBEW Local 11. Also, I'm an elected official at a water utility. What I see here is this very important issue that you're taking up, and I am in support of the proposed regulations. Energy systems and PV systems can be paired together, but they're separate and unique. And I am concerned if we do not do that with the ever-increasing systems, that we are jeopardizing the safety for our first responders and or different utilities and different things for public safety, water, and things that are.
Kathy, can you speak up? We're having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
It's a little bit better. You sound somewhat muffled.
Okay, so mostly I'm letting you know that I support this because it is very important to have the most high-skilled, trained working on these. Many people that are going to be using battery systems, things as utilities for the whole water systems, like my water utility, and I'm putting in solar and I'm putting in energy to make sure when there are power outages that we are able to serve water to homes and everything. This is not something that we could take lightly. I'm glad you're taking it up. I support the language that you are saying because it is important to have the most skilled, trained people working on these very important, large systems. So thank you very much for your time. And please, I support you to support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Scan the room. Is anybody that hasn't spoken yet want to provide a comment? We'll return to the moderator.
All right. If you're on the phone, you can dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will allow you to speak for 2 minutes to provide your comment. For those of you who have been waiting, we appreciate your patience. We will get to you, and your comments will be heard. If you're on WebEx through computer, tablet, or smartphone, you can click the raise hand button, or you can send me, the moderator, a message letting me know that you have a comment. When it's your turn, I'll announce your name and unmute you, allowing you 2 minutes to make your comment. Anthony Tersall, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes. Anthony Tersall, sending you a second request to unmute.
Yeah, sorry, I was saying I couldn't unmute myself until the command came through. Anthony Tersall with Applied Solar Energy from Pacific Grove, California, small installation company with about 12 employees. I would point out that recent changes in utility tariffs approved by the CPUC encourage the installation of PV in conjunction with storage and discourage standalone PV. So these rules would effectively add to the burden that the small installers have had and pretty much wipe us out, because most of the systems we're installing now are with batteries. The systems are often integrated, produced by one manufacturer. So the idea that you would have two different contractors installing a system that has components that are designed to work together is sort of ludicrous. And it just seems to be something to grab the business from small contractors and add more pressure to wipe us out. So I encourage you to not adopt this regulation. Thank you.
I am sending a caller a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. sending a second request to unmute. If you have dialed in by phone to this, please listen for a prompt to accept the request. Mario Berrigan, sending a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Mario Berrigan, sending a second request to unmute.
Mario Berrigan, I've been an electrician for over 32 years in Los Angeles, and I stand in strong support of the proposed regulations that establishes the 80 kilowatt hour threshold. C47 contractors have every ability to acquire a C10 license, but choose not to. They choose to hire so-called technicians, installers, everything but electrician. I've gone to school for over 7 years, and I went through a 5-year apprenticeship program that really trains you for not only your skills, but also safety. In the National Electrical Code, it stipulates that you will do everything to protect people and property. That does not come by becoming a technician, a crash course in panel installation, or in this case, battery installation. I think you guys are on the right path to putting a minimum threshold, and I wholeheartedly support your efforts. Thank you.
Ramsey Stevens, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
I'm a clean energy project developer, and I strongly support these proposed regulations. Given the safety risks of energy storage projects, irrespective of their size or integration with a solar system, the use of licensed electricians is necessary for basic safety, individual project success, and overall market efficacy, let alone market fairness. Without these proposed regulations, responsible developers like myself, who used licensed electrical contractors to do electrical work, have to compete with developers and vendors who ignore the intensive electrical risks associated with battery energy storage projects. It is crucial that these regulations are imposed to ensure the long-term growth of the clean energy market in California. Only through responsible project development and construction practices will consumers and financiers be able to make the investments necessary to reach our clean economy goals. I ask the board to promptly adopt these regulations to ensure this critical outcome for us all. Thank you.
Micah Matrosky, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Hi, everyone. My name is Micah Matrosky. I'm an international representative with IBEW's 9th District, speaking in support of the proposed regulations. These proposed regulations ensure larger or more complex battery energy storage installations remain under the proper classification of qualified electrical contractors who are required by law to use state-certified general electricians. This ensures the safety and quality of those installations and maintains the integrity of the C10 license. Thank you.
Nina Babiar, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Nina Babiar, sending you a second request to unmute.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Nina Babiars. I'm Director of Development with Public Watchdogs, headquartered here in San Diego. I'm also a solar and electric vehicle owner. But additionally, I was director of an advanced transportation technology and energy center for the state of California. I'd just like to comment with regard to this particular license board issue, that every time impediments add costs, that are added to the advancement of renewable sources of energy, and the California Air Resources Board and California energy mandates for electric vehicle charging and energy independence, they're thwarting the state's goals. By implementing this proposal, State Contractors Board is the State Contractors Board, the goals of the California Energy Commission and California Air Resources Boards are also thwarted. To suggest that energy storage is not an integral part or component to the ultimate success of solar is nothing short of absurd, inaccurate, and irresponsible. I highly recommend that you don't pass this initiative that you're discussing today. I think the electrical contractors have enough work without eliminating the little solar contractor competition. Thank you.
Robert Gum, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Robert, I can see you're unmuted. We can't hear you. Please make sure your mic is unmuted as well. We'll try Robert again shortly. Sharon Mullen, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Sharon Mullen, and I'm a residential owner and user of solar energy since 2018. I live in the Rockridge district of North Oakland. I am strongly opposed to the proposed solar battery regulation because I have been considering adding a battery to my solar system. I have been researching batteries that might best work for my household and discovered that even adding solar panels would shove me into the NEM 3 rating when California supposedly wants to go green with electric automobiles. And now when I want to add a battery storage so I can get an electric vehicle, I would be forced to hire an electrician to install a compatible battery system that could nullify my solar warranty. I strongly believe that solar technology should install my battery system since I purchased my solar system from them. Solar technology knows my system. Therefore, they are the most competent technicians to install and service my chosen battery backup, which should not be limited in size, and further, would not be in jeopardy of losing my solar warranty. In addition, it makes no sense to limit revenue from solar companies that have continued, along with solar consumers, to fight public utility companies, and not surprisingly, they support this proposal, who constantly try to cripple solar companies from providing their services to low and middle class consumers who want to fight global warming and utilize free energy of the sun. Thank you.
Walt Golofsky, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Hi, I'm Walt Golofsky from Tiburon, California. I have a graduate degree in electrical engineering from MIT. I've been a rooftop solar homeowner for 17 years, and I'll need to add storage soon because of NEM 3. Well, I sympathize with you because now I know what you have to go through. I've been hanging around for 2 hours, and while I've been here, I've heard testimony on both sides by businesses and workers with something to gain or lose. And I also had time to look at your mission statement, and it says to protect consumers. Well, that's me, and this proposal is going to put me in a position that makes no sense. I'd need one contractor to maintain and update my solar, another one to add and maintain battery storage. And what if my next electric car has vehicle to grid capability? Who connects that in? A car mechanic? This is a complex system with multiple integrated components. It needs to be handled by a single competent specialist familiar with all of them. But this proposal requires the system to be installed, integrated, and maintained by a committee. And what if there's a problem with the system and they each point the finger at each other while I'm paying both of them? This proposal harms me as a consumer and makes absolutely no sense. And like every other consumer who's spoken today, I ask you to reject it. Thanks.
Michael Luetti, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Michael, I think you've unmuted, but we still cannot hear you. Please make sure your microphone is also unmuted.
Yes, sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, I'm Michael. I'm with Bluetti, a company that produces energy storage systems. And today I'm here to express my opposition to the regulations as proposed. The threshold is too small, timeline's too tight, and declaration that battery storage is not part of a solar energy system is inaccurate and harmful. Solar and storage have been part of the same systems for years. Many solar installers already have the expertise and knowledge to install and repair these complicated solar systems, which are often highly integrated with energy storage systems. There's no need to restrict a C46 contractor from retrofitting and installing energy storage systems for reasons of lack of knowledge and experience. With these regulations as proposed, the CSLB will be simultaneously hurting small businesses, jobs, and the rise of energy storage, and the consumers we all serve. I support CALSA's proposed alternative language.
Phil, I'm sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Phil Olwit. I'm the CEO of Solarcraft. We're a 40-year-old solar contractor in Novato, California. We have 45 employees and install both residential and small commercial systems. Installed about over 200 commercial systems over the years. And I am absolutely in opposition to the regulations as they are proposed. I could go on about how I'm in agreement with most of the other people who opposed it here, but just as a nice anecdote, just 2 weeks ago, we got a call from a basic residential solar customer who had, we installed their system about 3 years ago. They had an electrician come out just recently to do some general work around their house. They saw the solar connection and they scared the customer because they said, oh, it was installed correctly. And what it turned out is that this electrician, licensed electrician, nothing to do with solar, didn't know about solar, interconnections and breakers, and thought it was overloading the system. It wasn't. It's way within the 120% rule and within the regulations. This scares me. It's if we have these kinds of licensed contractors who are not specialists, they are going to cause more problems. It's sort of like someday if I have a heart problem, I'm not going to hire my GP, my general practitioner, to perform heart surgery on me. I'm going to hire a specialist, a heart surgeon, and that's what this compares to. So I do oppose the regulations, and I support CALSA's proposal. Thank you.
Andrew Campbell, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Campbell. I'm a co-owner of Core Energy Group Incorporated. I'm a C46 contractor, and I'm also a licensed engineer in California. I just want to drive home the idea that we are a specialty contractor. This idea that the solar and battery are not interconnected or play with each other is completely out. It's just wrong. You need to know basically how the two systems work together to provide the value and the functionality that you're looking for. So for that reason, I support CalSTA's proposed alternative language. I just want to thank you for your time. Thanks.
Anybody in the room that would like to come to the podium and provide their comments? Seeing none, I'll return to the WebEx.
All right, if you're on the phone, you can dial *3 to raise your hand. And if you are on the WebEx application by computer, tablet, or smartphone, you can click the raise hand button, or you can send me, the moderator, a message that you have a comment. When it's your turn, I will announce your name, send you a request to unmute, and you will have 2 minutes to make your comment. Justin Keel, sending you a request to unmute. When you've accepted, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Justin, I see you've unmuted, but we still can't hear you. Please make sure your microphone is unmuted too.
Hi, my name is Justin Keel. I live and work in Santa Barbara, California as a firefighter. The proposed restrictions on C46 solar contractors are not in the best interest of the public and do not enhance public health or safety. I trust our solar contractors to service our systems because they are the experts who are trained extensively in these specialty areas. In addition, C10 contractors are frankly not available to do this work. It is impossible to get these contractors and electricians to assist with even our basic electrical work on residential and with our city and county government agencies that use solar systems and batteries. These proposed restrictions do not make any sense. In fact, the best course of action for public health and safety is to continue to support our solar contractors to do work on solar and batteries that they are specially trained to do so. As I said earlier, our local fire departments, including the one I work for, and our city and county governments contract with C46 licenses to service their battery stations and solar systems. Thank you.
I'm sending a caller a request to unmute. Please accept the request, and then you'll have 2 minutes to speak. I can see you've accepted our request, but we still can't hear you. Please make sure your microphone is unmuted.
Just me?
Yep, we got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Rich Borba. I'm with JKP Energy in Turlock, California. We serve the commercial, industrial, and agricultural industries. We hold a B, a C10, and a C46, and yet we strongly oppose this proposal. I find it laughable that other speakers claim this will have no impact on our business. In the statement of reasons from page 3, it says C46 and C10 contractors have installed PV systems paired with BESS over the years without any demonstrated harm to the public. If that's the case, what are we doing here today? The report also states the board has determined the proposed regulations will not affect small businesses. Yet, in the very next sentence, it says the board does not maintain data relating to the number or percentage of licenses who own small businesses. Therefore, the number or percentage of small businesses that may be impacted cannot be determined. This is crazy. California needs to increase installation by an order of magnitude if it's to meet its goals. We need more employees, not less. This proposal will reduce the number of qualified and experienced employees, many of which left other trades because they saw solar and storage as the future and wanted to be part of it. CSLB has determined that no reasonable alternative it considered to the regulation or that otherwise has been identified and brought to its attention could be more effective in carrying out the purpose for which the action is proposed.
30 seconds.
If the CSLB has concerns, why not train up C46 holders? Modify the exam. Why exclude them if there are no safety issues? I ask in your written response questions, you explain why modifying the exam is not a reasonable alternative. I also ask that you include how many questions on BESS are in the C10 versus the C46. I also find it embarrassing that Utility Workers Union support this proposal when utilities are exempted from requiring certified electricians. I oppose this proposal and ask you reject it in its entirety. Thank you.
Martin Hertzfeld, sending you a request to unmute. Once you accept, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
My name is Martin Hertzfeld. I am a licensed contractor, C46, C10, C70, 31D56. I'm also a Interstate Renewable Energy Master Trainer Emeritus. I'm a federal OSHA authorized construction trainer and also a Cal OSHA authorized construction trainer. As before, I'm strongly suggesting that the language as it sits today, that it not be changed in working as is working today. And so I do not see any data or evidence at this time for supporting the change. Thank you.
We don't have anyone else with hands raised on the WebEx.
No others? Any others in the hearing room that hasn't provided comment yet?
Let's go.
Okay, we'll wait around a minute or two and then if anybody comes on. Okay, thank you to everyone for attending today's public hearing. The time is now 12:18 p.m. and I declare the hearing closed. Thank you.
Thank you for everything. It is so difficult and kind of boring. And you hear the same stuff over and over and over again. And I've been the IT guy for 3 years, so thank you so very much. I appreciate all of it.
Nice to meet you.